All right, welcome back. Daybreak Social Square, where we seek to have topics away from the norm, politics and so forth. And today we're understanding other cultures, other religions. And today it's the Rastafarian way of life. A lot of you have questions, even as you said, you're understanding more as you watch this discussion. One of the questions that came up before we took the break was that someone said, I understand a lot of what is going on, but on the matter of the holy herb, that's how they described it, I am still not sure what that is all about. Princess Wakesho, I think, can help us just understand that better. You saw the question. What is your response?
I saw the question. I believe that when they speak of holy herb, it is cannabis sativa they are speaking about.
Yeah.
Right. For Rasta, for some of them, they use it for meditation, for prayer, for spiritual purposes. What I would like to emphasize is that cannabis sativa is a plant. The Bible has made it clear that herb was created for use by man. It is not something that is synthetic. Throughout the world right now, as we see, I believe half of the states in America have legalized marijuana. Uruguay has legalized marijuana. The medicinal purposes of marijuana are there, and they are clearly written. It is associated with Rasta, but truth be told, I think they better go and ask the ones who sell whether it is only the Rastafarian who go and smoke this and who buy it. You'll find, as Peter Tosh clearly says, doctors smoke it, lawyers smoke it, engineers smoke it. Probably the entire 3/4 of the Kenyan politicians smoke it, but they don't even want to say it, and they're being hypocritical. They want to dump it on.
There are concerns about the addictive nature of the herb.
How can a plant that is given by the Almighty be addictive? It is not synthetic.
All things are good except in
moderation.
excess.
Yeah.
So do you understand? Something like nicotine, cigarettes. If you find tobacco, is a different thing from a cigarette. So that you can find that tobacco can be chewed without the same consequences as a cigarette. Cigarette has probably, I am told, about 1,000 different chemicals inside of it. Marijuana is not addictive at all. In fact, research, and anybody can Google this nowadays, you have Google, it cures glaucoma, cancer, bipolar, all manner of diseases, really. And it's high time the government really legalize marijuana and stop filling Kenyan prisons with prisoners who have been arrested for possession of 1 roll of ganja. Honestly, that is criminal, Professor Bobby Mukai.
They have their microphones. Rasta, Wanjiru, you wanted to jump into this on the ganja herb.
Sister, when you talk of addiction, the most highly addictive chemical or drug is sugar and salt, and it is there being sold in our shops and everywhere. So let us be realistic about life. The World Health Organization have already stated that and apologized to the world that marijuana should not be categorized as a drug, because already scientists and governments who are ready to do research on the plant have already proven that the plant have more than 5,000 uses for man and for even the environment. So let us give research room.
Even as we give research room, I have a question for you. A child watching this program today hears you saying this and goes and looks for that herb, doesn't know how to use it properly, but because someone they respect like you said this, they pick it up. Are you not concerned? Should there be restrictions, or is it just open for all? Whatever you want to smoke, whatever you want to imbibe, because it's a herb, we go ahead and do it. Are there restrictions?
I can't say that the plant have harmful effect. That's what I'm saying. Even
to change behavior?
There is no behavioral change.
Okay.
The thing is, before you use anything, you must know why you are using it and for what reason. Like this morning, how many people have taken tea and they have used sugar? Do they know the content in sugar and what is and what effect it gives to them? So my encouragement is, don't just use things because other people are using it or because you see it in a magazine or what. You must know exactly what effect it does to your mind, to your body, before you attempt to do to even use it.
Okay.
But to see a high incarceration in prison and there is no amnesty for them, and then we see people who are destroying lives are being freed out there is not right.
Okay.
So we feel still the Ministry of Health, including even the government itself, should allocate funds for research, so that the narcotic law of 1994 states that marijuana is bad in different ways, but if it is prescribed by a professional doctor, you know, for specific disease like glaucoma or even bipolar, and you know, it is allowed. Pain relief. But is the ministry taken step to do research on that?
Okay.
So this is what we should be looking at, so that they should be able to guide everyone on which part of the plant.
All of you want to jump into this. I'll come to you, Bobby, because you have the legal aspect. But Honorable Empress, you wanted to jump before I come to Baba Makeda. You wanted to say something about this issue.
Please go ahead. I just wanted to support what my Lord Lojurun was saying on the hub. Like you were asking if it is addictive. If the children heard about this, what we are saying. Well, some of us have used marijuana for over 30 years and you're still good, you know? No change, nothing. So you can imagine. So I would say it has no side effects. Actually, it makes you good. You avoid diabetes, those things, you know, cancer. Like you can see I'm above 50, still looking good. Marijuana.
You're above 50?
Yes, I am above 50, my Lord.
Okay. So you say that, but nevertheless, I mean, I'm looking at WebMD right now. It's a medical website, and it says that marijuana has mind-altering components that affect both your brain and your body. So for you, it might not affect you, but Trevor Mbija here, let me use my example. Don't even go there. So you're not concerned that what might be good for you might not be good for everyone.
From my experience in Trodings, from experience in Trodings, I haven't seen marijuana have any effect on any rasta. They're all good.
We have myths. We have myths about marijuana, and also we have now the true information about it.
So when doctors say it changes the mind, it changes the body, you disagree with that?
I disagree because the doctor has not done more research.
Okay, Baba Makeda, wewe unaonaje?
Mimi kwangu hub naona serikali wangefanya utafiti zaidi kuhusu hiyo mmea, waache kufunga watu, kuwachanganya na makriminal wengine kule ndani sababu ya hiyo mmea. Ni mmea tumepewa na Mungu kuutumia. Kama mimi nimeutumia kwa 37 years. Nimeoa na niko na bibi na nimedumisha ndoa yangu kwa muda zaidi ya miaka 25. Na hakuna effect yote imeniletea kwangu.
Okay.
Haswa tuseme nimepunguzia serikali gharama. Kwa maana huwa hospitali sihudhurii.
Bobby, the legal aspect of this, because it is illegal as we speak right now.
Yes.
And in fact, there's a very dicey line between our people who are confessing to having used it right now and also the law.
Yes, and I think it's important, and with the legal aspect, I would like to bring in the late Honorable Ken Okoth, and the fact that he took the step to introduce a bill in our parliament, in our decision-making institution, that marijuana should be legalized in Kenya. And you've heard the reasons why. And it has, and there's a history as to why first it was made illegal. Marijuana was known as the black man's cigarette, quote unquote. Marijuana was associated with slaves, and it is what they consumed in Africans. And in those so-called Western countries that banned it, there were those cultural reasons. We heard about the discrimination and the condemnation of the black man, the man of color. There were also economic reasons as to why. There was a tobacco lobby, there was an alcohol lobby that had to make sure that marijuana or cannabis or hemp, which again as a plant has so many uses, industrial uses. And so all these other lobbies ensured that marijuana was made illegal. And so there's that which Ken Okoth has left as part of his heritage, and the fact that he has given us the challenge to ask ourselves, why are other countries rethinking their laws? Why are they changing their laws? And they are doing this because they have looked at the research that has been there. They have looked at the reasons and the history why marijuana was made illegal in the first place, and they have seen and come to the conclusion that all these were myths created for cultural, economic and social reasons, and they are turning around. And the fact that there are also principles in life that have to be respected in terms of choice, because even if you say marijuana is legal for recreational purposes, there is choice. Alcohol is legal, cigarettes or tobacco use is legal, but there are those who smoke, there are those who don't smoke. So you also have a choice. So for the one who chooses to use it for medicinal or for cultural or religious or even recreational purposes, why not respect that choice with restrictions, as you are saying? Because I remembered, as you're asking about children, very good cases, and one actually which was highlighted on CNN by Dr. Sanjay Gupta, of a child who was suffering from convulsions, but when introduced and used a certain strain of cannabis, the convulsions reduced drastically. In fact, that made Dr. Sanjay Gupta change his stance and advocate for the legalization of marijuana for medicinal use. But also studies have shown the issue of addiction, that these were myths and slogans that were being used. When Dr. Sanjay Gupta looked at the studies, he discovered, for instance, there might be, just as an example, 500 studies done. Out of those 500 studies, it's probably 10 that show that there is a psychoactive reaction, and which leads to addiction. But the broad pronouncements of those studies do not indicate this. So the lobbies that wanted and want to keep marijuana illegal for economic, social and cultural reasons will pick and will be biased around those studies. But when you look at the broader ones, and so the important thing is that why we need to legalize or change our legal stance is so that it can allow also research into this, because as my brothers and sisters are saying, in Kenya now we cannot even do that, because if you touch it, it's already illegal. But
you can't have enough quantities for research because it's illegal to be in possession to begin with. Okay, we are running out of time here, but I'd like to hear the Rastafari culture in terms of respect and discipline. You saw the child who was hurling insults, and you're a teacher as well and also a parent. Many people are blaming the parents. What do you think the parents are getting wrong, and what are the teachers getting wrong, and are they the ones to blame in this 21st century from your view?
And as you answer, we'll take this as your last response because we're out of time, and please keep it brief, and we'll get that from everyone else. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is
just hold the microphone closer.
It is the duty of the parent as the caretaker of the child to guide the child in discipline matters. Yeah, so once the parent now fails.
Does this include language as well?
Yes, it does.
But how much of this goes to the teachers? Because most of the time is spent with the teachers as well.
Yeah.
These insults were being held on a rooftop, most likely in school. Nobody's sure about that yet.
So I don't think it is even the teachers. Mostly they pick it even out from their peers in the society, yes.
Okay. All right.
It is, for Rasta, it is how you bring up your child. For me, I give thanks to my mother, who was very disciplined, and she was a teacher for over 35 years. As a member of the 12 tribes of Israel, we believe in reading your Bibles for yourself and doing the things that are written in. My children have studied their Bibles a chapter a day since the time that they were born. And they know that they have to abide and do the things that are written in. Children do not do what you say, they do what you do. So you have to set an example for them. We cannot blame the parents, we cannot blame the teachers. Put it squarely on the environment and the society. Let the children in Kenya read their Bibles a chapter a day and follow what is written. Haile Selassie was a Christian king, and he said, for my part, I glory in the Bible. So I expect that the children of nowadays have no backwards, forwards, center, left. They do not know where they are going because a proper example has not been set for them, neither by the politicians, by the society, by the teachers, or by their parents.
So we are all collectively to blame.
We are all collectively to blame. I don't even know why everybody is so out of the poor boy. Really.
It's a societal issue. I don't even know why everyone is out of the poor boy. That's an interesting way. Baba Makeda, ujumbe wa mwisho ni gani kwako?
Ujumbe wangu wa mwisho ningependa kufahamisha watazamaji kuhusu Rastafari Society of Kenya. Inasimamia, inatetea haki za rastas wote Kenya ambao watakuwa ni members wa society. Hatutakubali mtu yote anyanyaswe kielimu ama kikazi ama kivyovyote vile. Kila mtu ana haki ya kufanya mambo yake vile kama vile haki zimepewa kikatiba. Kwa hivyo, na wale watoto ambao hawana nidhamu, labda tungejilaumu sisi wazazi kwa kujigamba na mara huyu unasikia mtu anasema huyu ni mtoto wangu, unaona. Lakini pale mbeleni sisi tukiwa wadogo nilikuwa naona yani unaweza correctiwa na mtu yeyote. Ukifanya tu kitu mbaya hata kwa njia mtu hata anakuchuna na kuambia wewe, unaona. Hata uende waambie mzazi anakuambia umefanya nini, unaona. Hata yeye anazidi kuadhibu, manake hapendi unini. Lakini sasa wakati ukijaribu kucorrect mtoto wa mtu, utasikia mtu anasema wewe usiguze mtoto wangu sijui nini, unapiga mtoto wangu, unaona. Inakuwa hata kesi.
Asante.
Unaona.
Asante. Asante Baba Makeda. Tumalize hapo kwa sababu ya wakati. Bob, even as we wrap up, 20 years from now, might a day come when you decide, you know what, let me cut my dreads? Would that ever happen?
I've actually cut my dreads before. The first set that I had, and then after a while I did cut them. And after cutting them, I think that's when I discovered that I am actually born to live with the dreadlocks. Because I could not, for 5 years when I lived without my dreadlocks, I think those were my worst years. And I started growing them. And coincidentally, when I started growing them, that's when also the work around the COE started. And when I applied to be a member of the committee of experts, I had this dilemma of whether I should keep my short dreads as were then or cut them. But I said I have to be true to myself. Elder D talked about being true to yourself and what you represent. And I applied and went for the interview with my dreadlocks. So I think I was born to have locks, to live with locks, to aspire to be a better man. And I think that's what I want my dreadlocks to represent. I just want, if I could, touch on something about the young man that we've been talking about, because my background also is in child rights and child protection. And to say that I think we sometimes need to re-examine our society as a whole. We are talking about discipline. Discipline is derived from the word disciple. Following. And so as a society we must ask ourselves, what do we want to discipline our children around? What do we want them to follow? And so when you see a child speak in certain ways, behave in certain ways, children are very impressionable. They are copying behavior and stances that are from society. And so if we want to correct that, all institutions, we are talking about parents, yes, that is the root of education.
Okay.
We are talking about schools, we are talking about the village, we are talking about the market, the streets. So it's what values we have as a society first that will inform all these other institutions, from the home to the schools to the village, and that's what our children will follow. So as Kenyans, I think that's what we need to ask. What is discipline and what is education, so that we don't end up with what Bob Marley said, that we have educated fools in our society.
Good. We'll take that as your last word. Lojuron, you have the last word here. What do you want to leave the viewers with?
Very briefly.
Yeah, man, the life we're living in is borrowed from the next generation. So, children's rights is a human rights. Give them a chance, you know, to make the world a better place, you know. So, spend more time with the children. Instead of coming home from job, running to the bar, you know, rush home and see what your child have gone through the whole day, you know what I mean? That is what I will encourage. Yeah, man. So, children rights are them a human rights. Give the youth a chance to live, to make the world a better place. You see them struggling in the streets, in the ghetto. The children need some food, a place to sleep, proper education. Let us stand for them a liberation, a liberation, a liberation, a liberation for our children.
Wow.
I'm not even expecting that.
That's a good way to wrap it up. Brilliant. Thank you so much for panelists this morning, for making us understand the Rastafari culture. We appreciate you coming this morning. And that is Bobby Mkangi, constitutional lawyer, Honorable Princess Wakesho, reggae artist, and Honorable Empress Wanjiru, also Mama Africa and a teacher, Asante Sana, and Ras Lojuron Jaden, Rastafari family elder. Asante Sana for coming in, and also Baba Makeda, who's a prophet. And very briefly, what is it about? What is that?
This is the road of responsibility. If you go to the Samburu, the Kalenjin, and most African culture, when you reach a level whereby you are being given responsibility over the environment, over the community, you are given a road. And also when I walk, I hit it down so the small animals down there know that I'm coming, so I don't kill them anyhowly. I give them a chance to live.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
it's a road of responsibility.
Right, thank you for explaining that. We have so much of your feedback. 2242 is the SMS line, and the hashtag is Daybreak as well. Let's have those up on the screen now.
Let's bring them up and see what you're saying. We have Joseph Jumbe. Says, dreadlocks are a sign of devotion and belief to the Rastafarian movement. However, according to teachings and reasonings by Prince Emmanuel, Bob Marley, Professor I, Bongo Isaac, where Rastafarian is no religion, but a conscious movement for the emancipation of the black man. Wagwan Rasta.
Okay. Let's see what else we have on Twitter here. Agapetas Wamalwa. If Rastafari believes in nature, why is it that we have never seen them on front line when it comes to conserving Mother Nature? What is their take on Mau forest eviction? I wish we saw that before our time.
We would have asked them about that.
That's an interesting one.
Interesting view there. And we have Mars, who says Rasta culture is a peaceful livity. Rasta is all about being in harmony with God, nature, and mankind. Hail Rastafari. I wonder how people respond to those statements.
I have no idea.
Wagwan Rasta, what do you even
Kennedy
say?
Atinda one says, whether Rastafari was established to fulfill Marcus Garvey prophecy or not, our brothers and sisters have adopted it as a lifestyle, and as a people, we have no obligation to belittle them or perceive them as lesser persons.
All right, let's see what else is still going on Twitter here before we cross over to SMSs. 22422 is SMS line. Just text us. Agitonga Ngera says, ni watu rosafi sana. Straight and simple.
They've said thank you. This is what you're saying on SMS. 2242 is the SMS line. Vincent Kunga from the Netherlands says, here I'm a Rasta man doing my Masters of Software Engineering at Kent University in Amsterdam. I'm happy because you're educating this continent because they are losing their way of life.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
all the way from Netherlands.
Thank you for watching.
All the best, software engineer. Sister God out of Ruiru. Hey, all right. I salute Princess Wakesho and the other Rasta. Big up for standing with Rastafari. The way of Rastafari liberated me for sure, turning me into a questioner of the status quo. No more mental shackles.
Sister God from Roiro there.
Ruiru.
All right, Mary Kakenya from Narok. Now that even the non-Rastafarians nowadays, especially ladies, a number of men keep up with dreadlocks as one way of hairstyle. What's your view about this? Since it's not the Rastafarian way of life. They just like their hair. They just like dreadlocks. And we are seeing that quite a bit in modern day culture.
Yeah, let's see what else you're saying. Ben from Mombasa says, I wish to be a Rastafari. Please ask the panel to reach out to me. Asante sana. Okay.
And one last one, I'm told, Jarurahi Thika. It's time we go back to our culture, to run away from the ways of the world. I want to see a police officer in uniform with dreadlocks. And the Rasta way may help in fighting vices like corruption in the country. All right, that's the last one there. And before we take the break, there's something we need to talk about tonight.
Surprise guests. Should we talk about it now, or should we talk about it during the level up?
We've been told now you'll be on level up.
There'll be no dancing, by the way.
You'll be on level up. You
I'll
talk
be
to
leveling
them.
up with Roy T-Boy. But first, do we have a poster? Do we show them a sneak peek of who they are? Yeah. So,
Willis Raburu is on leave.
Scratch to reveal. We have two. It's very hard to talk about it because you don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but let's just say 10 over 10 is going to be late tonight, and we have guest hosts. You will find out soon enough.
I'm too old to say late. So Trevor has said it. So stay tuned for that, and that will be coming up after our 9 o'clock news tonight. But right now we take a break. And we release our guests because Trevor will be crossing over to dance.
Yeah, there will be no dancing.
There will be no dancing. Okay.
I'll just speak to Roy T-Boy. In fact, I'll probably talk to him about the Constitution.
Okay. All right, thank you for staying tuned to Daybreak. We'll be right back.
Smile for me, Jamaica, Lord. Hey, she have a yes, I am.
Africa's #1 mix master, DJ T.